Combat in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is an enjoyable part of the game. However, if you consistently die, then it will become frustrating and it will make the game less enjoyable. Here are my combat tips in playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and become a Jedi Grandmaster, at least in the game. And if this video is helpful, do not forget to leave a like or comment down below to let me know. Hello guys, this is Genuine Gaming, sharing with you my combat tips in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order in the Jedi Grandmaster difficulty, and fight like a Jedi Grandmaster. Tip number 10. Don't spam the block and light attack button. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is not a hack and slash game, but a Souls-like game. That is why spamming light attacks and smashing block button does not work. You have to be strategic in when to attack and get rewarded with a perfectly timed block for a parry. Tip number 9. Keep an eye on your block meter. As you cannot smash the block button, you cannot also hold on to it. When your block meter is consumed, you get stunned and become vulnerable against enemy attacks. Tip number 8. Learn when to use and not to use the Lockon System. The Lockon System makes fighting enemies easier by tracking their movement. However, this will also hinder your movement. That is why I would suggest to use Lockon when you are fighting a single enemy. For 2 or more enemies, do not use the Lockon System. Tip number 7. Learn the weakness of your enemies. Read and learn the weaknesses of your enemies in the data bank. The data bank contains valuable information on how to beat your enemies, especially those special monsters like Naidak, Jotaz, and Wishok. Tip number 6. Use your force power to control crowds of enemies. Force powers in the game makes you feel like you are a Jedi. Your force abilities are pretty powerful when used properly. Grasping Pull is great for killing enemies with one strike. Howling Push can be used to push enemies off the ledge. They are also great against huge enemies because they can knock them down. You can also use Force to pull your enemies towards you and throw them to your enemies with the Force Push. Tip number 5. Force Push can be used to interrupt enemies. One useful thing about Force Push is that you can use it to interrupt enemies. This is very useful during boss fights. You can interrupt them while performing the attack and they get staggered. While staggered, you can attack them unblocked. Tip number 4. Keep an eye on your force meter. Not keeping an eye on your force meter can put you in trouble. This happened to me a lot of time. I thought that I could still perform a force push to disrupt enemies, but then my force meter is empty. I thought I could force push a rocket, but then got hit by it because my force meter is empty. Tip number 3. You have Invisibility Frame while performing a finishing move. One useful thing you can use in your combat strategy is the Invisibility Frames while performing a finishing move. I use this little advantage when fighting groups of enemies, especially against troopers. Tip number 2. Practice makes you a Grandmaster. Practice makes a better Jedi Grandmaster. Practice on your parry. Most importantly, this will make fighting bosses easier. Performing perfect parries consistently can make you a Jedi Grandmaster in no time. Tip number 1. Try and try again. In the first time playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order in the Jedi Grandmaster difficulty, you should expect to die a lot of times. What good about video games is that you can always try again if you fail. If you expect to die frequently, it will lessen your frustration. And once you overcome the barrier that makes you stuck in the game, it becomes very rewarding. What combat tips do you have that is not in the list? You can share your thoughts in the comment section below. If this video is helpful, let me know by clicking a thumbs up or give me a comment in the comment section below. And if you want to support my channel, clicking the subscribe button is the best support that I can get. See you in the next video. Ciao!